morning because that wedge is going to be so locked in. So we're so cold tomorrow afternoon, even once the rain's over, but we'll still kind of be in the same situation early Saturday. What I also think is interesting, I was looking at some of the long range data for Saturday morning, but Tim, it also looks like similar to, I think it was this morning, we could even have some fog, which if the temperature is below freezing, could allow for some freezing fog. And I don't think in Charlotte necessarily because it'll be about 39, but in areas north, we could certainly have another round of freezing fog potential too, which I just think is something people don't hear about a lot.
No, and we talked about that on the show a little bit yesterday, and that was a good call by Brad to kind of highlight that in the forecast. I think it materialized. There was some of that limited visibility, and if you looked out there, it was kind of the frost that's actually beautiful in a way. Like it really is that frost that kind of coated everything a little bit, and it really was very white. One of the whitest frosts I've noticed this season, actually. So that could be a factor going into Saturday morning, I would say. But it's just amazing how cold we've been for so long. It feels like forever since we've had a warm day. It's probably only been about 10 days now, but we haven't hit 50 since way before Thanksgiving up in Greensboro, so it's been a little while.
Yeah, and we always talk about how we all have like short-term memory loss, and it's like we could be a really, really warm November, but all we remember is like the cold end to the month. Definitely,
yes.
I'm missing those 80-degree November days a little bit right now, but it looks like by the end of the 7-day forecast, we could at least be close to normal again. I don't know if you're seeing that too.
And that would be a big headline because average highs are still in the mid to upper 50s this time of December. So that would be a big warm up from where we've been. Just about a minute left, though, so I guess just bullet points going into tomorrow. This is going to be starting a little bit after midnight. For Greensboro area, if you're watching from the Triad area, it'll probably start out as some rain, then switching over to snow for a couple of hours. If you're north of I-40, we could get a coating to a half an inch or so. These areas are the counties that have been highlighted by the Weather Service that could see slick roads. We tend to agree north of I-40 has that opportunity to be a little slick and slippery, which is why we've had some school cancellations or remote days. Areas south down toward Charlotte as well, pretty much just all rain, and just kind of be ready to use the wipers. And I don't know what kind of coat you opt for tomorrow, Brittany. It's got to be a rain jacket, but probably a layer underneath that keeps you warm too.
Yeah, I have a hybrid that has like the hood that has the fur, but also keeps me dry. So that's probably what I'll opt for when I come to work. Yeah, unfortunately, y'all, just a reminder, no snow here in Charlotte, no snow across most of the Piedmont, but there is going to be a very chilly rain. So make sure you're staying tuned and staying safe. Tim, have a great rest of your Thursday.
You too.
Welcome, guys, to WCNC Plus inside the Impact Studio. We've got news for you for the next 2 hours. The Charlotte Invitational taking center stage inside the Spectrum Center in Uptown right now. Four of the biggest names in tennis are going to be playing: Venus Williams, Madison Keys, Frances Tiafoe, and Taylor Fritz. We heard from the four of them earlier today. Let's listen in right now.
Everybody for being here. We're really excited about tonight's Invitational, another showcase of world-class tennis. Excited to the conversation about what to expect. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Andrew to get the press conference started. But just thank you for being here, and thank you for the coverage and the time. We really appreciate it. Andrew?
Thank you, Will. Good morning, everybody. My name is Andrew Krasny. I'm your MC tonight. It's an honor and a privilege to be invited back to Charlotte, and it's a bigger honor and a privilege for me to introduce to you Taylor Fritz, Madison Keys, and Venus Williams. I'm making a joke, and Frances Tiafoe. So how about putting our hands together for them and welcoming them back to Charlotte? They've been here for 24 hours. So I hope that we have some questions to ask them about the Southern hospitality they've been getting from all of you here. This is probably the friendliest city that we've ever been to. I can tell you it really is special to be back. So my only request from all of you is that you let us know your name and what affiliation you're with, and I will come on over and give you the microphone. So it is all yours. Who is first? All right, here you go.
Hello, Christian Bass Knight, Christian's Court. This question's for Venus. Tuesday was a pretty eventful news day, I'd say, for the Williams household. You revealed your engagement photos. Congratulations, by the way, for that. But also that same day, there was news of your sister Serena's name being re-added to the drug testing pool, and that caused a whole commotion. She later denied a comeback, but I'm wondering if you had a chance to maybe talk with her about that. And then also, in your view, what's the likelihood of a potential Williams sisters doubles reunion in 2026?
Thank you for. Is this working? I guess it works. You got to get close. My goodness. Hey, I can only speak for myself, and thank you for the congratulations. And all I know is I can't get her on the court. She doesn't practice, so it seems very unlikely to me.
Thank you. Sorry, that's what happens when you have a pacemaker. So just to let you know, really questions about Charlotte, about how special it is to be back, and let's stick to as much tennis as we can. Here we go.
Hey, this is Cole Bambini with the WTAtennis.com. I have a question for Madison. Obviously, around this time last year, you had a lot of success in Adelaide and Melbourne. As you approach, with the kind of, I guess, from the U.S. Open and your time off, and I know you didn't feel well in Riyadh, kind of how do you get back into form to prepare for that swing? And has it felt like a year since you won that first career Grand Slam? And kind of if any, is there any pressure, like being the defending champion, for the first time at a Grand Slam?
Yeah, I think obviously there's going to be pressure being the defending champion, so it'd be crazy if I said that there wouldn't be. But I think it's really just kind of how you think about it. It's obviously a massive accomplishment, and it's going to be a huge honor to go into a slam for the first time being a defending champion. I am also very looking forward to just the whole Aussie swing. It's always one of my favorite times of the year, so really looking forward to going back. Obviously didn't have the perfect ending to the season that I wanted, but that's kind of the reality of the sport sometimes, and to have as much success that I did all year, I still finished at one of my best seasons yet. So I think just kind of using the next couple of weeks to work on some stuff, try to add some things to my game, and just hopefully have a really great start to the year.
Hey guys, Jeff Taylor with WCCB here in Charlotte. Welcome to the Queen City. Again, you have tournaments, you have majors that you play. This is for all y'all, and you can answer as you'd please. To be able to come out and do an exhibition like this or to play something like this, can you relax a little bit more? How cool is it just to be able to do events like this outside of tournaments and majors?
Taylor, take it away.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's definitely a different feeling than when you're at a tournament, and it's, I guess, more stress, more pressure. We can have fun and focus on playing good tennis, but also focus on really just entertaining the crowd and making it fun for everyone. And I think that's always a lot easier to do than, I guess, when you're at a tournament trying pressure to win and all that.
Francis.
Yeah, no, I second that. Sorry, I was in a little bit of a daze there, but totally agree. Especially coming in cities that don't normally have tennis, and you guys really appreciated tennis here last year. It was unbelievable turnout. So happy to be here again, and hope everybody has fun watching us play, and we'll try to put on a good show for everybody for sure.
Venus.
Oh, what am I looking forward to?
Just the fact that it is an exhibition, and how much does that change when it's not an actual tournament match? Where are you thinking about the head-to-head, the fact that you've played before, or are you just coming out to have fun?
Actually, it's maybe a little more pressure because there's no other matches to watch. So if you don't do a good job at the entertainment, then it's not going to be a good night. So I think we have a lot of pressure tonight to do well. So you guys buckle up. But no, I think we'll get to soak everything in and enjoy the crowd. But for me, it's still important. And obviously, we're athletes. Our careers are so important, but we're entertainers. So I think we want the crowd to be able to interact with us and enjoy the night.
Maddie, when you do this, I'm going to sneak in and ask a question, so I hope I don't offend any of you professional journalists, but if you do the scientific research, Charlotte has a lot to do with the fact that you won your first Grand Slam, wouldn't you say? I mean, you really kicked things off here with the love.
Yeah, I think starting here really was the key to my success in Australia, obviously. I had a great time. I'm very happy to be back in Charlotte and looking forward to it. There's a little bit of pressure because obviously last year I won, so I feel like I'm kind of defending that a little bit. So, as Venus said, we all really want to be entertainers. We hope the crowd has a great time, so I think that's really at the forefront of all of our minds.
Is to have fun. All right, next question. Yeah, yes, sir. Name.
Hi, Jorge Andres, CBS Charlotte, WBTV. This one really for all of you. You guys are all great competitors. You all put on a great show. But what's it like to turn back into the stands and see that little girl or that little boy that may not get to see the Venus Williams, the Madison Keys, the Taylor Fritzes, or the Frances Tiafos on a regular basis, and have you guys light that spark into maybe what tennis is going to be in the future for them?
Sheesh, that's heavy. It's real heavy. But yeah, I mean, that's what you hope, right? That's what you hope for. When you're out there and you see little kids, hopefully you're that person to inspire them to want to do anything at a high level. It doesn't have to, so to speak, be tennis, but you hope to inspire them to do something special. As young Venus Williams did for us. So we try to we try to be that great example, and hopefully we do a good job of that tonight.
Venus?
Oh, wow. I'm always a proponent of when you do something positive for yourself, you always help others. You never know who's watching or who's motivated by that. And I've personally experienced that in my life, even also really close to home with my sister, who motivated me so much. She never had to say a word. So yeah, even though some of the things we may do may seem selfishly motivated to win a title, but or to be our best, just by that we motivate others. So it's just all a trickle down effect. So, and I think for all of us too, it's like it's bigger than the dream because you never imagined that would be the effect, right? You just are out there trying to get yours, and then you spread the love.
And I think to Frances's earlier point, it's, I think, even more special for all of us to be able to come to cities that don't normally have tennis tournaments, and for especially kids and even just all of the fans. We really enjoy being able to be in person so that more people get to enjoy the entertainment of tennis and the love that we have for the sport in person.
Yeah, I don't know what to say now because I was actually just going to say exactly what Maddie just said. She beat me to it, but yeah, it means a lot coming to places that they wouldn't normally have the tennis, so they get a chance to watch it live, and then also just the chance with the kids after when we're not playing to take pictures, sign autographs. I know that when I was a kid and I went to tournaments or events, like I know how much that meant to me. So, I think it's important to do that as well when we're also not playing. And I try to not forget how much it meant to me as a kid.
Miles Harris, WCNC Charlotte. Venus, specifically for you, though, too, you played tennis in a lot of different places. Can you say, first glance, I know it's only been about 24 hours, but what have you liked about Charlotte? And could you speak on whether or not Charlotte is a place that could host tennis at your guys' level more consistently?
Was there TP event here? I don't know. No? Not so much? No. Okay. Why not? Never say never, right? And it's not easy to get a tournament. That's the hard part, is actually like finding the sanction to get here. But once that happens, then the sky's the limit. And there's just been such tremendous growth here on all fronts. I think everybody's moving here from what I hear. So, you guys become a tax-free state, I'll move here too.
Venus, you were here many years ago playing an exhibition with your sister in this exact arena. Do you remember that, and how special is it to be back?
Yeah, I do remember that, and I think, Serena and I were playing, and I feel like that year I had like a major wrist problems. I think I could only slice the backhand, but I still showed up. It's like, I gotta show up. I can't just not come. So it's good to be back all these years later, and perfect time with the perfect crew.
Right.
Hi guys, Savannah Rudisell with Queen City News. Madison, Francis, you guys were here last year, and Charlotte is very much growing in how big the tennis footprint has here. How does it feel to be part of that growth and coming back again?
I'll let Maddie go first.
I'm very happy to be back. I was so blown away last year. The crowd was amazing. Everyone was so into it. I was told, and then I came to learn myself, that Charlotte is a huge tennis community. So being able to come back and see that and be a part of it, and hopefully grow the event to be even bigger. And like Venus said, who knows, maybe there'll be a tournament here one day and we'll all get to add it as a stop every year. So I just am very honored to be able to come back, and really looking forward to hopefully another amazing crowd.
Any more questions? Yep, here we go.
Hi, AC Wyatt from Sports Business Journal. So I'm going to ask you a business question, if that's okay. Just from y'all's perspective, and if we go Taylor, Madison, Venus, Francis, how's the business of tennis?
That's a big question.
That might be
I don't know.
above our pay grade.
I don't know which way to take that, but I don't know. I think probably depends who you ask, but I think there's a lot of room still for, not me, I think things are going well. You see increases every year in prize money, in growth, so I think there's that, but I also think there's a lot of room for improvement. I think there's ways we could do things better to just make this overall package that we have better, easier to follow for fans, which would, I think, help grow the sport. But I'd say overall, I think, tennis is in a good spot and the sport is growing.
I'll speak more so on the WTA side. Venus was obviously a huge reason as to why we have equal prize money, and that was a huge step forward in the business of women's tennis, but more so in women's sports. So I think in that respect, we are still making strides. I still think that there's room to grow, but I would love to see tennis be able to support more people. I know that obviously the top earners are kind of taking the majority of the prize money, and it's a very expensive sport. It's very difficult to get into it, to sustain it, to support it. So I think, in my opinion, the future of tennis, it would be amazing if we could kind of grow the sport so that it was a livable wage for more people in the sport.
I haven't even been on tour for the last 2 years, so I don't know what's really going on. So I've been learning from you two.
Francis.
No, I mean I definitely agree with Maddie. I think to over time continue to get it closer and closer, where it's more people can choose it as a profession, and you don't have to be one of the top best players in the world to make a real nice living. And I mean, it's getting there. I mean, it'll probably be way after we're done and retired. But happy where it's going. I think the game's getting a lot more exposure. You see more and more people, non-tennis fans, want to come watch the game, which is really cool. But I think, overall, prize money's been going higher, and I like where the game's going. We always wanted to be a bit better, of course, and critique things, but I think it's going in the right direction for sure.
It's Cole Beatty with the WTA. Hey, Venus, I know you're scheduled to play in Auckland here next month. I guess talking about your schedule as a whole, do you hope to play in the Australian Open as well, and maybe how much do you plan to play, in 2026?
Well, for now, I can only confirm Auckland. We'll see what happens after. And, of course, tonight.
Of course, tonight. Yeah, last question.
Christian Bastian at Christian's Court. This question's for Francis. I know you made the decision to shut down your season a little bit early, and you parted ways with a few guys from your coaching team, David Witt and Jordi Arcanata. Can you kind of talk about that decision? I guess why you decided to make that move, and if you've already appointed a coaching or team replacement?
Yeah. I mean, I got rid of more than just two guys, but yeah, no, definitely just want a fresh start. I've been doing the same thing for a very long time. 28 and top of the year, I kind of just want to do something different. I want to just get a little bit uncomfortable and see what happens, and why not? I don't think there's any bad thing that can kind of come out of that. But as far as what's going forward, I guess you guys wait and see. Wait and see who I decide to bring with me and go on this crazy journey that we call life. So, yeah, we'll see.
As long as you don't get rid of your MC, I'm fine with that.
I don't have control over that, so it's all good.
Before we say goodbye, I just have a quick question. I see you at the 1000s, at the Grand Slams, at the big tournaments. How unique is it to be at an event like this in Charlotte, where everyone's so friendly, and the fact that you don't have to put your heads down, keep your eye on the prize, that you can actually really relish in hanging out with friends, and the four of you are such good friends. How special are these opportunities for you?
I think it's amazing to be in a city that loves the sport and is so excited for us to be here, and then to be able to do it with people that I genuinely just enjoy being with and get to spend time with. It's always really fun, and there's, in environments like this, a lot more free time where we get to kind of talk and hang out and catch up, versus at tournaments when we're all very busy and kind of passing by and saying hi quickly. So being able to kind of just catch up is really nice.
Taylor?
Yeah, I think it's great to be here with all these guys, and I think that it's a more chill couple days than being at a tournament. We can really focus on just entertaining the crowd and making it fun. And like we said before, it's a place that doesn't have tennis, so the fans are very, I guess, excited for the event. And what I heard from Maddie and Francis, that the turnout was amazing last year, and the hospitality has been amazing since I've been here as well. So just excited to try to make it fun for everybody.
You'll have no problem making it fun tonight, that's for sure. Venus?
Yeah, it's literally called the Charlotte Invitational, so you got to be invited. So that in itself is an honor, and we've been so well taken care of from the moment we landed here, and I think that the city has welcomed us so well also, and I think there's going to be a lot of excitement tonight, and this will be the last time, or at least for me, before next year, that we can really enjoy the tennis with the fans. So we're going to go all out.
Venus, I'll speak on behalf of everyone in Charlotte. It was one of the easiest invitations ever to extend. It's an honor to have you here for sure. Thanks. And Francis, last but not least.
No, I agree with everybody. It's nice to come out and not, feel like, all right, I got to be super locked in, and you're trying to achieve something, win the event, or whatever case may be. You kind of just come out here and just, relax, see people you haven't seen, see what they're up to, see what the off-season's been looking like, and just coming here and enjoying the fans and enjoying the game of tennis that we all really enjoy. So I'm excited to come out there and play against Taylor tonight, and it should be a great time.
All right, we're looking forward to seeing all four of you. On behalf of everybody here in Charlotte, thank you for joining us today. Any last-minute questions, anything we can answer for you, we're all here for you, but we are planning on seeing each and every one of your faces tonight. So thank you for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you in just a few hours. Thanks a million.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys, we'll have more for you from the Spectrum Center tonight at 11 o'clock as the Invitational is ongoing in Uptown right now. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break. On the other side, we'll go to the CMPD presser on safety here in Charlotte for the holidays. We're back here inside the Impact Studio. As I said earlier today, CMPD getting started on operations to make Charlotte and Uptown safer during these holiday months. We'll go to this presser right now.
Good afternoon. My name is Crystal Fletcher. I'm a lieutenant with the Public Affairs Division at the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. Thank you all for being here today. As we enter into the busy holiday season, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department is launching a proactive initiative to ensure our community can enjoy the holiday safely and confidently. Today, we'll share how this effort combines increased strategic visibility, strong partnerships, and a commitment to accountability. It is my honor to introduce our new Chief of Police, Estella Patterson, who will outline the details of this initiative and speak to the progress we're making together. Chief.
Thank you, Lieutenant Fletcher, and good afternoon to everyone, and thank you so much for being here today. Truly, it is an honor and a joy to be back in Charlotte and as a member of CMPD, a department that has meant so much to me throughout my law enforcement career. Joining me today is a whole host of law enforcement professionals, local, state, and federal law enforcement professionals, elected and appointed officials, and community stakeholders who care as much as I do about this community and our great city. With me today, we have Mecklenburg County Captain Ricardo Preacher. We also have Mecklenburg County ABC Law Enforcement, Kevin Stone. We have our DA, Mecklenburg County District Attorney Spence Merriweather. Also to North Carolina State Highway Patrol Colonel Freddie Johnson is with us. We have our North Carolina ALE Director Brian House, all the way from Raleigh. Thank you. Also to our U.S. Attorney of the Western District of North Carolina, Russ Ferguson. We have one of our community members and leaders, Charlotte Center City Partners, Mr. Michael Smith. Also too, I have members of our executive team from CMPD that are here with us, and some of our command staff as well. And additionally, I'm extremely grateful that we have our mayor, Bob Lyles, with us today. Members of our council are here, always standing side by side with us, supporting the efforts that we're doing in our community. To each of you, I say thank you so much for being here and for supporting what we are doing with CMPD. As everyone is aware, my journey as Charlotte's police chief is just beginning. However, even in this first week, I want to make it clear that continuing to reduce violent crime and disorder and addressing the perception of crime are among the priorities that I have established to build a safer and a stronger city. And this is why we are here today with this press conference to introduce the launch of our Operation Safe Season. Before providing information on this operation, I just want to share with you that I am pleased that our overall crime in Charlotte is down. From the months of January to November, we are down 9% compared to last year this time. Also, I'm proud to report that we have an overall 20% decrease in violent crime and a 6% decrease in property crime year to date. This achievement, of course, is a direct testament of the hard work, the dedication, and the professionalism of our officers and the work that they do every single day, along with the many members of the agencies who are standing with me on today. To our officers and our law enforcement partners, I say thank you for your service. It is really making a difference. While overall crime is down across the Queen City, crime in our Central Division, or our Center City, has been in the spotlight. Year to date, property crime in Central Division is down, and I'm very pleased with that. We have seen some significant decreases in our burglaries, which we are happy for. However, our violent crime in the Central Division is up 15%. This includes 10 homicides in 2025 as compared to 4 in 2024. As well, we have seen a 15% increase in aggravated assaults compared to the same period last year. While we understand that conflicts arise, arguments happen, disagreements occur, none of it should ever end in tragedy. Violence is never a solution, yet we're seeing that more and more every day. We are committed as a group to addressing this, along with aggressive panhandling, drug usage and sales, which are initiatives and things that have, or crimes that have been focused on by our Crown unit and also our EDU, or Entertainment District unit. While we have seen some decreases in crime, and I'm proud of that, we recognize that safety goes beyond the numbers. Truly, safety is about a sense of security, people being secure in their homes, in their neighborhoods, and their places of work and other places where they enjoy. With that in mind, beginning tomorrow evening, we will launch Operation Safe Season, which is a multi-agency operation that is aimed at promoting safety during the holiday season, when we tend to see those increased foot traffic and events happening, particularly in our uptown area. Our focus will be the Center City, and we will expand to other areas of the city where we see crime occurring or where we see repeat incidents of violence. Operation Safe Season is about being proactive. It's about being visible. We're going to be increasing our presence during peak entertainment times and hours, reducing opportunities for violent and property crimes, and we're going to be doing it through saturation patrols, through law enforcement and traffic enforcement of safety violations, and strict enforcement of nuisance and quality of life crimes. We want families and visitors and businesses to feel confident that Uptown is a place where they can gather safely. But we also want offenders to know that if you come to the Uptown to commit crimes, you will be held accountable for those crimes. While we will not discuss specific operational details of Operation Safe Season, the public can expect to see an increased presence of law enforcement beginning tomorrow evening and into the coming weeks, particularly here in the Center City. We are taking an all-hands-on-deck approach. Specialized CMPD units such as our CRU or our crime reduction units, as well as JADE, our Juvenile Accountability and Diversion Empowerment Team, our motors, our DWI Task Force, our Crime Gun Suppression Team, and our Firearm Task Force are just some of the units that's going to be assisting with this operation. Also, too, North Carolina ALE and ABC will be visiting businesses and educating them on applicable laws and taking enforcement actions as necessary. North Carolina Highway Patrol will do what they do. They do a lot. But them and the FBI and other law enforcement partners will be right by our side, supplementing the work that we are doing. Private security will also be enhanced and have visibility along our rail trail. All of our personnel will be visible, will be approachable, and we will respond to anything that occurs in our city. Let me close by saying that Operation Safe Season isn't just about seasonal enforcement. It's about reassurance. We want people to feel safe coming to our uptown, supporting our local businesses, and enjoying all that our city has to offer. We are confident that our collective efforts of local resources will have a lasting safety impact on our uptown and will spread to other parts of our city. At this time, I'd like to invite Mecklenburg County District Attorney Spencer Merriweather to speak on a critical component of our strategy, which is prosecuting criminal actions and holding offenders accountable. Mr. DA.
Thank you, Chief. Good afternoon. Again, I am Spencer Merriweather. I have the privilege of being the elected district attorney in Mecklenburg County. Today, the district attorney's office is pleased to join with the leaders of many of the agencies you see assembled behind me, and especially with a new and returning partner in Chief Patterson, to demonstrate our collective intent and dedication of resources to keeping our neighborhoods and our communities safe, especially during this holiday season that should be a period of joy and of peace for families in Mecklenburg County. This is especially true in our center city, which has offered generations of families happy and meaningful holiday memories. Now, our top priority in the district attorney's office remains the prosecution of violent crime. That was best evidenced by the 3 people convicted at trial of first-degree murder just last week, and dozens of others convicted of other violent offenses over the course of the last 2 months. And yet, both violent crime and quality of life crime committed by repeat offenders have been the focus of our heightened attention in Uptown and the Entertainment District. It's the reason why we have devoted increased attention to trial time and to crimes that have been the focus of CMPD's Crown Initiative. And now we have prosecutors in the district attorney's office who have been specifically assigned to focus on repeat offenders in this district. This is a model that can and will be replicated in neighborhoods across this county. New state laws around pretrial release, many of them have gotten a good bit of mention over the course of the last week, can certainly, involving pretrial release, have certainly can interrupt criminal activity not only in Uptown but elsewhere. But there are some other important laws that have gone into effect over the course of the past week that will enable prosecutors in your communities to ensure that accountability for those who might threaten safety and peace of our community. On December 1st, Senate Bill 311 went into effect, and among other things, it increased punishment for convicted felons who commit new felonies with firearms. Specifically, it provides new enhancements for felons who possess, brandish, or discharge a firearm during the commission or the attempted commission of a new felony. Combine these new changes with new punishment enhancements for those that manufacture, sell, or deliver fentanyl, and your prosecutors now have a number of new tools to utilize for the protection of the people of this county and the people of this region. And I want to be clear, where the evidence can support it in our center city and elsewhere, we will not hesitate to employ these enhancements. Operation Safe Season is critical because it will provide our center city a first step for exactly the kind of enhanced law enforcement presence that all of our neighborhoods need, especially as our communities grow and as we face increasingly complex challenges within those communities. Local, state, and federal partners all working together I'm especially pleased to be here today with my colleague, the U.S. Attorney for the Western District of North Carolina, Russ Ferguson, with whom we will continue to collaborate on priority offenders in Uptown and beyond. Every prosecutor knows that an enhanced law enforcement presence equates to a more instant and a more fulsome response to crime as it happens. More instant response time means an improved chance at collecting the critical evidence that can enable the successful prosecution of violent and repeat offenders. In accomplishing this, Operation Safe Season sets a blueprint for exactly what prosecutors need to protect the community and to uphold the rule of law. As always, we are proud to stand with our justice partners in ensuring safety and securing peace this holiday season and always. And now I introduce you to our U.S. Attorney.
Thank you, Spencer. I appreciate it. I'm Russ Ferguson. I'm the U.S. Attorney for the Western District of North Carolina. And first of all, I wanted to welcome the Chief back to Charlotte, congratulate her on her selection as Chief of Police. We're so happy you're here. And second, I'd like to commend you for hitting the ground running, which is exactly what our Chief is doing with this new initiative. And you know, safety in Uptown is so important. And it's not important because the people that live in Uptown or the people that work in Uptown are more important than any other residents in Charlotte. But it's important, as Spencer put it to me one time, downtown Charlotte, uptown Charlotte, is our city's living room. It's our hub, a literal hub of our transportation system. It's where our major sports and entertainment arenas are. It's where people from all corners of Charlotte come to enjoy our parades, our festivals, our parks. It's where the majority of our hotels are, our visitors come, our convention center is the artery of Charlotte. And as a city, we have put a tremendous amount of investment into our center city with the help of Charlotte Center City Partners and others. And we've invested in all these things, the entertainment venues, the stadiums, the parks, the convention center, but all of that will be for nothing if Uptown is not safe. And really all of that will be for nothing if Uptown doesn't feel safe. And so much of this initiative is making sure that throughout this season, people feel safe when they're enjoying all the amenities of Uptown that we've worked so hard to build. But it will also help safety throughout the city. This is not just about Uptown. It is our boldest criminals that come downtown and frighten, that intimidate, that victimize people. They come from all parts of the city and they leave Uptown and go to all parts of the city. And not just the city, but beyond that, to other counties in my district here in Western North Carolina. They don't know borders. Crime doesn't know borders. They come and they go. Violent actors do not respect boundaries. So this is extremely important, and at the federal level, we're very proud to join Chief Patterson in this effort, and my office is fully committed to it. We will use every federal tool available to bring people to justice who commit crimes uptown. We will work together to focus on individuals who are driving the violent crime in Uptown, those who are carrying illegal guns, those who are engaging in violent crime and have violent criminal histories, and those repeat offenders who continue to wreak havoc on our streets. If you commit a federal crime in Uptown, you will serve federal time. We've indicted 159 drug crimes so far this year in my office, and we have more to come. And with this initiative, we will add anyone to it who brings a gun to Uptown who is not supposed to have one or uses it in a way you're not supposed to use it. We believe this will make a huge difference. We will remove the worst of the worst offenders from the street. And in federal court, it matters because in federal court, you get significant time. You get significant time in federal court, and there's no federal parole. So know that if you're going to commit a crime in Uptown, you are not going to be through some sort of revolving door at the jail down the street. You'll be in a federal prison for a very, very long time. So we're looking forward to working with CMPD on this. We will work with CMPD to identify patterns and hotspots and individuals. I'm looking forward to working with the DA's office, who will review cases together. We'll fast-track cases that can go to federal court. Because when Uptown is safe, and like I said, when Uptown feels safe, Charlotte as a city will thrive. Our hotels and restaurants will be full of visitors. Businesses will move here in droves, as they are ought to do, and they will bring opportunities for our residents. Our parks will be full of our neighbors. Daily transit commuters will be safe as they take the bus and the train and the streetcar. Small business owners and workers who keep our city running will do so without fear. Charlotte will continue on its trajectory from a world-class city that it is to the absolute best city it can be. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Patterson, District Attorney Merriweather, and U.S. Attorney Ferguson. We appreciate the support of the agencies here today, as well as our community's assistance in keeping Charlotte safe. Operation Safe Season is about partnership, prevention, and presence. Together, we're making sure Uptown is safe, welcoming, and ready for the holidays. We encourage community members to remain vigilant and report suspicious activity now and throughout the year. If you see something, say something. Call 911 to report suspicious activity immediately so that our officers can respond and address concerns in real time. The public can also share information that could help solve crimes anonymously through Crime Stoppers by calling 704-334-1600, using the P3 Tips mobile app, or visiting charlottecrimestoppers.com. Your eyes, ears, and voices can make a difference in preventing, solving, and prosecuting crime. We will now take a few questions, so if you would let us know what your name is, what affiliate you're with, and who the question is for, we would appreciate it.
Hi, Michael Warwick with WBTV. Is there a warning, Chief Patterson or Mr. Merriweather, to juveniles who may think that there are some limitations to how the law can penalize them? Those kids who may plan to go uptown for the holiday season and stir up trouble or whatever, what would be your warning to them that there are penalties and it can hurt you in the long run?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, for our juveniles, we understand that they're young people. They want to be engaged. They want to be in the community. They want to enjoy the festivities of the Uptown and other parts of our city. We will say to the juveniles that you have to follow the law. You have to be responsible. And when you don't, we have our JADE unit that is monitoring, that's going to be out there, that is going to be talking with these juveniles and intervening. We know that many juveniles tend to think that they can commit adult crimes. We're not going to tolerate that. They're going to be held accountable for any crimes they commit. But we want to work with our young people. We want to divert them from crime. We want to make sure that they're not engaging in activities that can be lasting throughout their lives. And I think with having our JADE unit, some of our nonprofits being available to help us, we can do exactly that. And Mr. D, I don't know if you want to add to that as well.
Just to say that it is certainly our intention to make sure that all people who are in possession of dangerous weapons are held accountable. That includes young people. While we also want to make sure that our juvenile system is one that treats children like children, the goal of the people that you see standing before you is to protect all of the children. Our Center City is a place where children and young people ought to have a wonderful opportunity to make memories, to go, to play, to recreate, and the like. And so we want to make sure that we're creating an atmosphere where that can happen, and we'll use the law to do it.
Siobhan Ryan with WBTV Charlotte. Speaking of juveniles, what is your message to their parents as well?
Yeah, so to parents, you have to be involved with your children. You have to know where they are. I think far too many times parents call the police to police their children. I admonish parents to be parents, to make sure that you know where your children are, and if you are having difficulty with them, then seek those proper resources to help with them.
Jensen, WBT Radio. I'm curious, so crime stats are up in Uptown, as we know, especially the violent crime stats. So why only doing this for the season? Why not do this 12 months a year to make people feel safe 12 months a year?
I agree with you 100%. We're launching now, but we will continue this initiative as long as we need to do it. We just know and recognize that this time of year you tend to have more activity, more foot traffic, that kind of thing, but certainly we will continue our efforts. I will also just look over at my major for Central Division, because we already have some initiatives in place in the Uptown Crown, also our Entertainment District Unit. All the officers who work in the Uptown are committed to making sure that they try to mitigate violent crime as much as possible. So it's not that this is a one and done kind of thing. We will be continuing it, but we're just launching it right now.
Hi there, Evan Donovan, WSOC Channel 9. Welcome back to Charlotte. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Is there a disconnect right now between the safety of Uptown and the way people feel about the safety of Uptown?
I think what people have shared with us, there is a disconnect. Sometimes they don't feel safe, and certainly that could be for a number of reasons. And that's part of the reason we're doing this initiative, is so that people can see an increased presence of officers and an opportunity to talk to our officers, to approach us, to ask us whatever questions you have, to talk about that perception if you're feeling unsafe. The two should align, just like our district attorney said. You should feel safe, and also to Russ, you mentioned that. You should feel feel safe, period. That if you want to walk your dog, if you want to just go on a stroll or go running anywhere in our city, that you're safe to do that. And you should feel safe regardless of what the crime numbers are.
2 more questions.
Hi, Jeff Chamber with the Charlotte Observer. Drones have been spotted in the town skies around Uptown and some Tryon Street. Are these CMPD drones, and are they part of the operation, or will they be part of the operation?
I don't believe that we're using any drones at this time. Major, if you want to kind of address this, I don't believe that we are.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Major Gene Lim. I serve in the patrol operations, and particularly in Uptown. If you're seeing drones, we're probably going to get calls on that. We haven't launched that program yet. It is forthcoming, but we don't have any in operation at this time. Thanks.
Last question here. Nick was on with the TQ group. While I know a lot of the community and out-of-town visitors are going to truly applaud this partnership, what exactly, where's the federal zones that are going to be set up? I thought you mentioned that certain prosecutions will be federal. And then where's the funding for this upcoming?
Yeah, on the federal part, so it will not be by zone. There will not be a federal part of Charlotte and a state part of Charlotte. It will be by crime. So if you commit a federal crime, we will take that. And for us, there's a variety of federal crimes, but mostly it's your worst of the worst repeat offenders. So if you're a felon with a handgun or something like that, we will take that case and take it to federal court. That doesn't mean that the state DA's office necessarily hands that case over. Sometimes there's a state crime and a federal crime, but we'll apply federal resources where we can, and we'll use our existing resources to do that.
And I would just close by saying, in terms of just budget, we're operating within our budgets, and we're not pulling resources from other parts of the city necessarily. We're relying heavily on a lot of our specialized units to be able to make sure that our city is safe. So other parts of Charlotte will have their regular staffing, have their officers work in those areas.
The statistics we shared today follow national standards set by the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting Summary Statistics. The information will also be sent out in our press release, put on our social media channels, and on our newsroom website. If you need the spelling of our speakers' names, our Public Affairs Division staff has that right now. Thank you all for joining us, and have a great day.
All right, that's the end of the press conference there, people. We're going to take another 2-minute break. We've got more news, so please stick with us. We'll see you after this. A big announcement today from the DOJ. For years, the person who planted pipe bombs outside of the RNC and DNC the night before rioters took over the Capitol remained a mystery during that January in 2021. Just today, federal investigators announcing a major breakthrough. We're listening right now.
Good afternoon. As you all know now, early this morning, Brian Cole Jr. was arrested and charged with placing the pipe bombs at the RNC and the DNC on January 5th, 2021. He has been charged with violating 18 U.S.C. 844, which is use of an explosive device. This investigation is ongoing. As we speak, search warrants are being executed, and there could be more charges to come. I'm going to let our U.S. Attorney discuss that shortly. This was the work of multiple agencies working together. This morning's operation was carried out safely and successfully. We know that there are so many issues when you're issuing search warrants. Dangerous things can happen, and this was carried out safely and securely thanks to all of the people standing around me. They have worked tirelessly on this. Today's arrest happened because the Trump administration has made this case a priority. The total lack of movement on this case in our nation's capital undermined the public trust of our enforcement agencies. This cold case languished for 4 years until Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino came to the FBI. The FBI, along with U.S. Attorney Pirro and all of our prosecutors, have worked tirelessly for months, sifting through evidence that had been sitting at the FBI with the Biden administration for 4 long years. Let me be clear, there was no new tip, there was no new witness, just good, diligent police work and prosecutorial work, working as a team along with ATF, Capitol Police, Metropolitan Police Department, and of course, the FBI. We are working every day to restore the public's trust. We hope that today is a significant step towards that progress. We'll share more information when we can and when it unfolds. I cannot stress enough how hard Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino have worked for months to make our nation's capital safer and to make our country safer. I'd like to introduce now Director Patel.
Thank you, General. When you attack American citizens, when you attack our institutions of legislation, when you attack our nation's capital, you attack the very being of our way of life. And this FBI and this Department of Justice stand here to tell you that we will always refute it and combat it. We will provide the safest country the nation has ever seen under President Trump's leadership here. And that's what we did here today with great resolve on a case of massive public importance, as it should be. An individual who is now alleged to have placed multiple explosive devices to blow up multiple people and multiple officials, innocent civilians, is now arrested thanks to the brave men and women of the FBI and the interagency. I want to take a moment to thank the Metropolitan Police Department, the United States Capitol Police, our brave prosecutors, the Department of Justice, and our leader, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, whose relentless work on this case made this possible. As the Attorney General said, we did not discover any new information. What we did, an investigation spearheaded by the Deputy Director and the ADIC of our Washington field office, brought in a new team of investigators and experts, re-examined every piece of evidence, sifted through all the data, something that the prior administration refused and failed to do. As a result of that, we generated numerous investigative leads, executed multiple legal process with our U.S. Attorney partners, and came to this conclusion today. And that is why we were able to safely secure this individual into custody Remember, we are dealing with an individual who is alleged to have made bombs. We cannot do this sort of takedown in haste because it endangers the lives of law enforcement. And this FBI will never allow the lives of law enforcement and our prosecutors to be put in jeopardy. This execution was flawless in terms of teamwork, resilience, and just a good old-fashioned way of police getting the job done. When you let good cops be cops, this is what happens. I'm eternally grateful to the team behind me, to the leadership at the FBI who made this possible, but I do want to highlight when I introduced the deputy, he made this case and so many others, including Summer Heat, his priority to come in here and solve it for the American people. And today, I'm proud to stand here before you and say, we solved it. He will have his day in court. The American public and the world will learn even more information through the legal process as we have committed under this Attorney General. We are the most transparent law enforcement operation in U.S. history, but we are also going to make sure accountability is delivered to its fullest extent, and that happens in the courts of law with our U.S. attorneys and our prosecutors. So we will divulge information when it is prudent and constitutionally permissible while upholding the safeguards of this case to make sure that the people that this individual intended to victimize get the accountability they deserve, and most importantly, to deliver on President Trump's promise to secure our nation's capital and the rest of the cities in this country to make sure that Americans are allowed to go out free and securely in their neighborhoods and that people around the world are allowed to visit our nation's capital, and they now have that trust thanks to the leadership of the FBI, the Washington Field Office, and I'm honored now to introduce to you Deputy Director Bongino, who spearheaded this investigation.
Thank you all for being here for this critical investigation we've been working on for a very long time. We deeply appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words, Attorney General and Director. I appreciate it. Folks, this is what it's like when you work for a president who tells you to go get the bad guys and stop focusing on other extraneous things not related to law enforcement. This is what happens. We had a great team. I know it's said a lot in this business. It was a team effort. It becomes cliche, but cliches are useful for a reason because they matter, and this was a team effort. The Director and the Attorney General emphasized that it was not a new public tip this came from. This was our internal work at the FBI. And I want to just really express my sincere gratitude to this Attorney General and this President for allowing us the latitude. I spoke with Ms. Bondi very early when we, maybe day 2, and I said, we're going to get this guy. And she said, yes, you are. And we did. I want to also thank, he's not here, but Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who we deal with often as well, who could not have been more supportive. Whatever process we need, Judge Janine, Todd, and Attorney General Bondi, they were there. All you had to do, they were a phone call away. And their team was amazing. We actually never had to make that phone call because they were always responsive. And thank you, Judge, as well. You were amazing. Folks, you're not going to walk into our capital city, put down 2 explosive devices, and walk off in the sunset. Not going to happen. We were going to track this person to the end of the earth. There was no way he was getting away. Well, we didn't have to track him to the end of the earth. It wound up in Woodbridge, Virginia. I want to thank the team. They were amazing. They never let this go. Again, Attorney General Bondi, for your incredible support. Director Patel, Judge, I know they're giving me a lot of unnecessary credit, but make no mistake, they were intimately involved in this and were there for all of those supportive mechanisms, and I deeply appreciate it. The man whose team did the work is the Assistant Director in charge of our Washington Field Office, Darren Cox. Darren's got some comments, and Darren has some more details on the case he can provide. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate it.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Darren Cox. I'm the Assistant Director in charge of the Washington Field Office. Today's arrest of the alleged D.C. pipe bomber is a momentous day for the American public, for the FBI, for our Joint Terrorism Task Force, or the JTTF, and our partners, the U.S. Capitol Police, Metropolitan Police Department, and ATF. We've also had a large number of other federal, state, and local departments that have worked on this investigation. And last but not least, the U.S. Attorney's Office. We all worked hand in hand to solve this investigation. This has been a long week in D.C. After the terrorist attack last week, the grit and determination of the FBI and our law enforcement partners is an example to the American public of what cooperation, partnership, and selfless service can accomplish. The amount of effort the FBI and our partners devoted to identifying the pipe bomber cannot be overstated. It is the resolve and determination of our investigators that ultimately led to the identification and the arrest of this suspect. We all know pipe bombs are dangerous, not because of the potential loss of life, damage to property, or injury that they can cause, but also because they are tools that terrorize our community. Fortunately, these bombs did not explode, although they certainly could have. But make no mistake, the alleged pipe bomber did terrorize our community. Today's actions underscore the long memory and the long reach of the FBI and our partners. I know some people had given up on finding the perpetrator, but not the FBI and not our partners. We do not forget, we do not give up, and we do not relent. Though it had been nearly 5 years, our team continued to churn through massive amounts of data and tips that we used to identify this suspect. I want to thank Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino for their leadership and for providing us the resources and the personnel to reevaluate all of the data that we had. We dove into more than 3 million lines of data to come up with this suspect. Director Patel, Deputy Director Bongino, thank you for your support, thank you for your passion, and thank you for your investment in this investigation. From me, on behalf of the investigators, the Washington Field Office, and all of our partners, thank you. I'd also like to thank Judge Pirro. Judge, your team and you are absolutely amazing. You're the type of prosecutors and U.S. attorney that all of the investigators across the country want to work with. They're hard-nosed and they're aggressive, and thank you for that. I'd also like to thank the American public for providing tips and leads, not just on this case, but every day on cases across the country that are being solved by law enforcement. And finally, I want to commend all of the members of the Washington Field Office, and most specifically, the investigative team. Their diligence and persistence led to this arrest today. And they are absolutely, totally dedicated not only to this case, but every case they work. So thank you, Washington Field Office. Last, I will say our work is not done. The FBI will continue to pursue every lead and use every resource that we have to ensure that the D.C. pipe bomber is brought to justice. Thank you.
You keep hearing the words partnership and team, and that's what we are. And we could not do this without our U.S. Attorney, Jeanine Pirro. Jeanine, from day one, has worked tirelessly for our country and for our nation's capital. It's my honor to introduce my friend, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro.
Thank you very much, Attorney General. And you have been listening to a lot of thank yous and a lot of gratitude. The reason that we're thanking each other to the extent that we are today is because we have seen in this case an incredible collaboration around the clock, in the middle of the night. It doesn't matter. We call each other, we make contact, they need a warrant, they need something, someone wants legal advice. These are the men and women who never give it up. You hear about government employees, but I don't know if you really realize what it is that they do. They are incredible, and this case is big. 4 years, 10 months, and 28 days ago, an individual placed a bomb in the vicinity of both the RNC and the DNC. And for that amount of time, that individual evaded accountability. Today, as a result of the cumulative efforts of the men and women in the FBI and the police department and the Department of Justice, we are finally able to make an arrest of an individual by the name of Brian Cole. As the Attorney General has indicated, he is arrested for transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce, as well as the attempted malicious destruction by means of explosive materials. You know, folks, this case involved millions of pieces of data. And it is a huge win because it was like finding a needle in a haystack. So much of this evidence was very specific, but a lot of it was also very general. For example, there were 233,000 black end caps of the type that were used in this case. I want you to think about the fact that the FBI had to go through the sale of every one of them to try to find commonality with an individual, along with the purchase of the pipe itself, the cap ends, the wires, the steel, and the 9-volt batteries. Every one of those had to be mined and remined to the point where we were able to then connect. And make no mistake, it was this administration, it was this president who made the decision that we were going to use all of our efforts to get it done, and get it done they did. Finally, let me say this. Today begins the formal process of accountability, where this defendant will begin his journey through the criminal justice system. And I pledge to you that the United States Attorney's Office will take this case across the finish line. Again, thank you to the incredible work of the FBI, to the Attorney General, and to our local partners as well. This is a job that I think was well done.
Thank you. President Trump's directive to all of us was to not only make America safe again, but D.C., and to make it safe and beautiful. We could not have done that without our partnership with Mayor Bowser and Chief Smith. It is my honor to introduce Metropolitan Police Department Chief Smith.
Good afternoon, and thank you, everyone. I am Chief Pamela Smith, Chief of Police of the Metropolitan Police Department. Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, and FBI Director Patel for having me here today. For nearly 5 years, the agencies standing here today have worked together under the leadership of the FBI to locate our suspect who is responsible for the 2 pipe bombs that were placed around our city. MPD members assigned to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force have supported this case from the beginning. That supports include looking, reviewing, and going through countless, probably thousands of hours of CCTV footage from around the DNC and RNC headquarters, and they followed up on hundreds and thousands of leads from members of our communities. What I will say today is that Washingtonians can rest easier today knowing that the suspect responsible for this act is now in custody. This morning's arrest is yet another reminder that committing any act with the intention of harming the residents and visitors of the District of Columbia will result in your arrest. The men and women of the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI, the ATF, the U.S. Capitol Police, and certainly the prosecutors at our U.S. Attorney's Office will go to the furthest length. I heard somebody say to the end of the earth, but thank God we didn't have to go to the end of the earth today, that we were able to bring this subject into custody. I want to commend the men and women of the FBI and the members of the Metropolitan Police Department and all of the agencies who are standing behind me today on a job well done. I will turn it over now to Attorney General Bondi.
Thanks, Chief.
Excuse me.
We're going to take some questions. Just remember, as I said in the beginning, this is ongoing. It's very active. The search warrants are still being executed. Many charges potentially to come. So just keep that in mind when asking your questions.
Jake, Fox News. So you said it had been nearly 5 years, we all know that, and that you said there have been no new evidence. So can you say anything about the evidence that actually did lead to this arrest? And then secondarily, you're talking about additional charges possibly. Can you say what those you might be considering, or terrorism charges, or what?
We can't discuss new charges, of course, yet, ongoing. But what I will say is this is why this was so incredibly important. More than any other case, is this is in our nation's capital where this happened. And now, thanks to the FBI, we know that this defendant was living just miles away from here in Virginia. So as to the evidence in the case, I'm going to let Director Patel take that, but it's still very active and very ongoing.
Thank you, General. And as I stated earlier, and as the General has already reiterated, our job is to provide full accountability in the court of law with Judge Pirro's team. And in order to do that, we have to preserve the chain of custody and evidentiary value. What I will say generally is that when you go through 3 million lines of information, y'all can think about the amount of cell phone data that has to be ingested and triangulated and dumped and received. You also have to think of just sheer human ingenuity. We brought in a team of experts who were the best at what they do in their specific fields to reevaluate that evidence, to dive back in, and to not come back with a no for an answer until they had found the suspect. And when you develop evidence, you get a search warrant. And when you get a search warrant, you get an address. And when you get an address, you hit the house. And that's what we did.
Sadie, Wall Street Journal.
Hi there. So what can you tell us about this person's motivations and whether they were driven by politics or for any other reason why?
Right now, it's ongoing. Again, we just executed the search warrant early this morning. It's ongoing. But America's safer, DC's safer because he's in custody.
Mary Margaret, Daily Wire.
Thank you so much. So, any theory on why Kamala Harris has never mentioned coming within 20 feet of being assassinated, and any news on why her Secret Service team took so long to find this bomb at the DNC?
No, but what I will tell you is that evidence has been sitting there collecting dust. This wasn't a new tip. It wasn't some new evidence. It was the hard work of President Trump's administration, Deputy Director Bongino and Director Patel. I watched them from day one come in here and say, we are going to solve this crime. And they did, working hand in hand with U.S. Attorney Pirro and all of our great attorneys.
Pierre, ABC.
General Bondi, Director Patel, or Deputy Director Bongino, can you describe, was there a particular moment where the evidence is coming in and it's starting to look like progress is being made? What was the moment that you knew that you were on the road to solving the case? If anyone could take that.
Dan, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. I was smiling at you because I certainly remember the moment. Darren remembers it too. He said, "Are you sitting down?" He called me on the phone. I said, "Oh boy, why? Is this bad news?" And he said, "I think we got him." What exactly that tip was, we're going to have to pass on that for right now while we're still, obviously we're in the prologue of a long book. This is just the beginning. This is not the end of the investigation, as you all well know, having reported on these for a long time. There's interviews to be conducted. The search warrant processing scene is not even done. So we're at the early stages, so that's the only reason I hesitate to tell you what the exact tip was. But yes, that was absolutely the moment, and it was due to the diligent and incredible work of a team in the Washington field office that came in and just scoured through this over and over and over and over again.
In general, was it forensic? Was it a phone call? Was it something about a vehicle?
I'd rather, we'll just leave it generally, forensic evidence. Yeah, it's fair enough to say. Excuse me?
How long ago that was?
I'd rather not say because of the ongoing interview process, and I don't
Can I
want
say one thing?
Yeah, of course.
I just want to add something to tell you how thorough this team was. That moment that was kind of like the aha moment, that wasn't the end. This team continued to work and work to get every bit of evidence that we could get. We didn't stop at that moment, and that's a testament to the fact that the team wanted every possible piece of evidence that they could gather.
One more? One more, Kelly O'Donnell, NBC.
Thank you so much. Have you recovered the notable sneakers? Have you done surveillance of this suspect from that aha moment to when you exercised the search warrants today? And obviously, this happened on January 5th into January 6th. How should the public look at this case, separate from all of the cases related to what transpired on January 6th and the president's subsequent pardons?
I'm going to let Director Patel take the evidence part. We have to be careful, again. You've asked very good investigative questions, but this is ongoing, very active. But America should feel safer today. We say a pipe bomb. These are bombs. These were live, active bombs that were placed in Washington, D.C. Director.
Thank you. This shows you how much detail you and the American public have paid attention to this case. Of course, we analyzed everything that you're seeing on this poster board and information that you will see through the formal charging process and court process. But we want to let that evidence speak for itself because, again, we do not want to disrupt the accountability that we owe the American public. Yes, you heard about the cell phone tower data. Yes, you heard about, of course, we surveil individuals who we think were going to blow up American citizens. But how and when we do it and why we do it is not something we're ever going to reveal unless the Department of Justice deems it fit at trial. So we appreciate your attention to detail and your hardcore investigative work, but you can just imagine some of those same skills were being utilized by this FBI, this Department of Justice, our partners, the ATF, and everybody across the board. And this is an interagency win for the American people.
Was this suspect on your radar before?
Thank you all. And one more thing, this is the best birthday present I think Deputy Director Bongino could ask for today. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Thank you.
How is it different?
All right, guys, going to take another 2-minute break, and we'll be back after this. Well, the World Cup is just about to be here as we turn into 2026 in the next month or less. They're talking about transportation already, as many of the games will be played, obviously, around the world. And the President and Secretary Duffy were at this press conference a little bit earlier ago, so we'll go to this right now.
I want to let you know that the pride and the honor that I have to be up here to have participated in the World Cup, and let you know that it truly is indescribable. Having been a part of the games in 1994, I can't underscore
That's probably about it. It's just like
that 94 World Cup had on me, and had on the entire country. For those of you that maybe weren't around and didn't have the opportunity to be there and weren't a participant during that time, I think we have to look back and understand what soccer was like in '94. It was a sport that not many people knew a whole lot about here within the United States. There was a very passionate group that did understand it. There was a passionate group that was saying, you don't know what's coming your way in '94 when the World Cup is coming. That it is special. That it is a moment that will be indescribable. And let me tell you, it was exactly that. Being part of that '94 team and coming from an era where no one really knew about soccer and there's very little visuals of soccer on TV, it was special to see the '94 World Cup, come to fruition. We went from a situation where there were very few people knowing about soccer to all of a sudden it was like, what's this game? What's it all about? People wanting to be a part of the World Cup. I can remember a particular experience, and this is very LA-centric, because that is where I'm from, that let me know that, wow, this is something special. If you know Los Angeles at all, you know the freeways are always crowded, no matter what. Being part of the team for that '94 World Cup, and this is the moment where I knew this was really something special. We're on the bus, going to training during the World Cup. We're heading to the 5 freeway, and there's no one there. I'm like, wait a second, what's going on? And then I looked down and saw that the police had stopped the entire 5 freeway, for our bus to drive through smooth to go to training. That was the moment for me where I said, being from LA, okay, we made it. We're here. Everyone's going to love this game and is going to participate in this. But let me tell you, there are some upset people, on the freeway trying to get to work. But that was the moment for me. I really knew that we had made it. 30 plus years later, we have the World Cup coming back to the United States. It is something special. I try to put it, or try to think about it in the way of explaining it to those of us that have children. If you think you know what's going to happen here, you don't know. It's like saying, oh, I've had my first child. Guess what? The second child is going to be just like the first one. No, we know that that's not true. Completely different. This World Cup will be different. It's going to be bigger, better, brighter, more exciting. That's what it's going to come down to. In 1994, for those of you that know, it was a special moment. The whole world's eyes were upon us. Within the United States, everyone got on board and participated and helped out that U.S. team make a special run. Well, in this World Cup, we have double the amount of teams as in 1994. There are going to be 48 teams spread across 3 different countries, where we have the opportunity to bring all of these countries together. Between Mexico, Canada, and the United States, we are going to be celebrating the World Cup here with 48 different teams. This is the opportunity to bring cultures together. This is going to be a special moment, in my humble opinion, where everyone's going to be coming together to celebrate the beautiful game. And as they say, in the old African proverb, it takes a village. Well, that's exactly what it's going to be like for this World Cup. It's going to take a village, and you are all part of that village, to make sure that everything is going right within this World Cup, and the celebrations can be special for everybody here. This is not only a celebration of the beautiful game, it's a celebration of the 250th anniversary of our nation. So that's a whole nother level, where, as I was talking to some people, we do have the opportunity for the U.S. to possibly play on July 4th, where something could be really special and take it to another level. But I want all of you to know, the games are more than the 90 minutes on the field. It truly is a celebration for all of these different countries that come here during the World Cup. It's not just the 90 minutes, it's the celebration before, it's the celebration after. And we know when we talk about events, you talk about those 90 minutes, but you'd also talk about the experience that you had around it. And everyone here is going to be a part of that. So I want to say, for the work that all of you are doing, making sure that trains run on time, that planes bring tourists in and out safely, trucks are delivering food to the stadiums, all of that is essential to make it something special, to make it a memory for all the fans, all the people, and everyone watching around the world. It truly is the beautiful game. It does take a village, and we are all part of that village. Okay. So thank you for what you do, and let's get the show started. First up, we've got a quick video from my colleagues at Fox. Can we roll it?
The world's greatest soccer. It is a party, it's a celebration for the world. Wake up, America, it's time to go again. Truly an event like no other.
This is incredible. This is going to be the biggest, the best World Cup.
Fans are ready for this one?
Ready? Everyone set, please. Here we go.
People around the world. There's so little in this world that unites us as a country, unites us as a planet.
Sensational finish. An absolute beaut. It doesn't get better. There is just so much quality. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Tobias Lock into goal. And these scenes will live forever.
I love that. I love that. The beautiful game, a perfect example that it's more than just what happens on the field. It's a little bit of everything. Pretty awesome. Right now, I'd like to turn things over to the host of today's event, the 20th U.S. Transportation Secretary, Sean P. Duffy.
How great is this? We have Kobe here emceeing our event. He is a legend, National Soccer Hall of Famer, a three-time World Cup player, Fox Sports analyst. So Kobe, thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this for us. Again, bringing so much energy in a week of great soccer energy with the FIFA draw tomorrow. So we are truly grateful for that. Hey, everybody. Yeah. Welcome to DOT. Thank you all for coming. Listen, we are excited. Tomorrow is going to be a great day at the Kennedy Center. President Trump is going to be there. Thousands of people are going to be in attendance. But around the world, 1 billion people are going to tune in to watch the draw at the Kennedy Center. So we're excited that we're kicking the event off today here at DOT. We're excited about FIFA. The president is excited about FIFA because it's a great sporting event, but it's going to come to America on our 250th anniversary. And again, in America, we love sports. We love to celebrate our birthdays, so to combine those two things together is going to be absolutely fantastic. On top of that, at the White House, we're going to have the first ever UFC fight as well, so it's going to be a great celebration of America's 250th birthday. As we look to these games, right, we're going to have 6 million people that are going to come into the United States to watch these games. So I've talked with State, I've talked with Homeland, we've partnered together. The President has given this directive. If you're watching around the world, we're going to make travel seamless for you as you come into the country. We're going to make it as easy as possible so you can come in and enjoy the great World Cup event that's going to go off. Some people have wondered, well, we're here at DOT. Why are we at DOT? What do you have to do with FIFA and the World Cup and soccer? I don't want to overstate it, but I think we may be more important than the coaches, the refs, maybe the players, I'm not sure. We have a big role in making sure that this event goes off really well. And so I just want to talk about that a little bit, because people move throughout the country during the World Cup on planes, trains, and automobiles. And so first, we have the FAA. The FAA knows we're going to have a lot of international travel that comes into the country, and then as people get to the U.S., a lot of people are going to travel by airplane between the host cities. We are clearing the skies, clearing the decks, making sure air travel is going to be seamless. The FAA is already working on that. The one thing we can't control is the weather, so if we have weather issues that pop up, I don't have any control on that, but the FAA is working to make sure air travel goes incredibly well. Rail. We're prepping our tracks, making sure we have enough cars as fans go between host cities, making sure that our rail runs on time, our rail is safe. All that work is happening right now as we prep for a massive number of fans coming into the country. Motor carriers, incredibly important as people travel between host cities on buses, making sure we have buses that are safe, making sure we have drivers that are vetted, but almost more important than that, as our fans go to the games, we need to make sure that we have enough beer and hot dogs. And it's our motor carriers that make sure that we are well stocked with all of the accoutrements for an enjoyable game. They also bring in all of the equipment that allows our networks to broadcast this event worldwide. And so that's the role that motor carriers play. One of the biggest parts of what we do, though, is transit, and making sure that our subway systems, our buses, we have enough cars, we have enough buses. We actually bring in additional assets to make sure we can move people seamlessly from the hotels in which they're staying, getting them to the games, getting them there on time, getting them there safely. All happens at DOT, and so it just doesn't happen by us, making it an afterthought. We've been thinking about this for over a year. How do we make these games great? How do we showcase America to showcase then the World Cup? And so I want to thank the whole DOT team who's here. Again, we have consistent meetings. How are we doing? How is everyone working together? And I feel very confident as a secretary that this is going to go off incredibly well. I do want to take a moment, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer for you all, but one of the issues that we see that I think is it's a tragedy. There's a lot of human trafficking in the U.S., but around the world. And when big sporting events like this happen, it is a time when more human trafficking takes place. And we want to do all we can to make sure we stop these young women who are being trafficked. And I want to take a moment, I was just talking about transit, the New Jersey Transit team has gone above and beyond to make sure they're running ads, heightening the knowledge of their travelers to understand the signs of someone who may be trafficked. And so the DOT today, U.S. DOT, is going to award for their great work New Jersey Transit an additional $50,000 as a recognition of the work that they're doing to stop human trafficking and to maybe put a few more resources into that effort to make sure people see the signs. Again, we want to enjoy these games. It's a great time to celebrate. It's a great time for countries to rally around their teams. But we also want to make sure that if there are bad things happening, that we're doing all we can to stop it. So to New Jersey Transit, we thank them for all that they're doing. So again, I want to welcome you all to DOT. Thank you for being here. I want you all to know that, again, we are working incredibly hard. And it's not just us, again, though we probably have the most important part of this. Don't tell Marco Rubio or Kristi Noem I said that, but we do. But we all are working together. And what I love is that our president, you go to the Oval Office, he's had a FIFA trophy sitting in the Oval for months on end. He is excited about the games and has given a directive to all his cabinet secretaries. Make sure this is seamless. Make sure this is great. Make sure this is the greatest sporting event for the World Cup ever. And so that is the mission, and that's what we're trying to deliver on. I'm a hockey guy. Sorry, Kobe, not necessarily a soccer guy. It was before my time in northern Wisconsin. So I'm going to give you a 1980 Olympic hockey team, Herb Brooks, whose famous quote was, "Great moments are born from great opportunity." Gentlemen, we have a great opportunity coming this summer. Let's maximize it. Let's love it. Let's have a blast. Let's have a ball. Let's stay safe. And let's make sure the U.S. wins. With that, Kobe, I'll give it back to you. Thank you.
Great opportunity indeed. Now let's welcome the Executive Director of the White House's World Cup Task Force, Andrew Giuliani.
Well, good morning, everybody, and one day till the draw here coming up at the Kennedy Center. Very, very exciting. You know, I thought this week that I might, or the White House Task Force on the World Cup, might have the busiest week in Washington. But looking at what the Department of Transportation has done just in the last couple days with Dulles Airport and a commitment to making it a great gateway for our nation's capital, and then, of course, with the incredible announcement yesterday with President Trump in reducing cafe stand to make cars more affordable. Really, congratulations to you, Secretary Duffy, and the transportation team here. So to all of you guys, a round of applause for making transportation more seamless for Americans. I also want to give a real shout out to the umbilical cord from the Department of Transportation to the White House Task Force, the hard workers. You know, Secretary Duffy and I, Secretary Duffy's a hard worker, but Secretary Duffy and I, we get the opportunity to come up here and speak with you and get to talk to Kobe Jones and all that stuff. But some people, like my staff, need to actually do the hard work. Well, at the Department of Transportation, along with Secretary Duffy, that's Chief of Staff Pete Meacham, Ben Segrist, and Felicia Alexander, who we talk with on a daily basis and are doing everything they possibly can, not just to give Americans and international visitors a seamless visit here as they come for this mega event that is going to be the World Cup, but really the greatest and safe transportation experience that they'll have. And I'll tell you one of the experiences that I've already had with them. As many of you already know, we had the Club World Cup earlier this summer, and the semifinals and finals were in the Meadowlands at MetLife Stadium. I believe it'll be known as New York, New Jersey Stadium. I have to put New York first as a New Yorker. Some of you may know that I am a New Yorker. I like to mention it on occasion that, by the way, I'm a New Yorker. But We had a great experience before the semifinal, going from, I think I started at Penn Station, but I met the rest of the team at the New Jersey Transit Hub. We then ended up taking a bus to Secaucus Junction, and then from Secaucus Junction, we took the train with many Brazilian and Chelsea fans. Chelsea obviously went on to win that, and that was such a great experience that a few days later, President Trump invited me to go to the game on Marine One when he gave out the final. And Secretary Duffy, Pete, Ben, Felicia, I can honestly say that my time going to MetLife with you that Wednesday, it was one of the best couple of experiences I had had that week at going to MetLife Stadium. But truly the size and scope of this tournament is amazing. When you think about how many people will be coming to the United States, as Secretary Duffy said, over 6 million people. But when you think about how many people will be watching the United States of America alone, an average Super Bowl gets about 130 million people. For this World Cup final, FIFA is projecting over 2 billion people to be watching. Really, the world will be watching. And when you think about the logistical issues that come with moving people, these 6 million people, and that's not to mention all the Americans that are coming here for America 250 events, celebrating over our 250th birthday, to go from Boston to New York to Philadelphia, Houston to Dallas, Kansas City, to maybe watch the opening game for the United States of America in Los Angeles, then up to Seattle, then down to San Francisco. I mean, it is going to truly take every method of transportation necessary, and a key part of that, and I mentioned this before, but something that I talk about with President Trump almost every time that we talk about the World Cup, is making it safe and secure, doing everything we possibly can to make sure that not just Americans that have the opportunity to go to games or to go to fan fests or enjoy the incredible birthday experiences that we'll be having over America 250 have a great trip, but part of that is making sure that they have a safe trip and a safe trip home to their families. So we're focusing on making sure from a safety and security standpoint around the stadiums, in the diplomatic hotels, but certainly on the railways, on planes, on buses, that Americans, that those international tourists have a safe transit experience and that they're able to come back to their home country telling how incredible the United States of America is as a host. And just a little bit more of the scope of this, because it really, really is amazing. 104 games, 78 in the United States of America, 11 host cities. What we'll be finding out here tomorrow is where many of those teams will be playing, but what we'll also be finding out over the next month are maybe some of the cities around the United States of America that has not been the focus of this World Cup, where teams will base for the better part of a year. Think about if Argentina draws the Northeast. They very well could be based in Alexandria, Virginia, or maybe Providence, Rhode Island. If Brazil draws the West Coast, they could be in Boise, Idaho. The amount of international visitors that will actually come to the United States of America, regardless of whether or not they have a ticket, so that way they can enjoy what is going to be a mega event, this truly greatest event in human history, which is the World Cup. One final thought, because I think this is so key on our 250th birthday, as we approach our 250th birthday. I really believe the World Cup is the best opportunity for us as a country to show the greatness, true American exceptionalism in our first 250 years, and then the hope and promise of our next 250 years, and how people move about this incredible country that is the United States of America is such a key to that story. So Secretary Duffy, thank you so much for the time. I know we want to get on to Kobe Jones, guys that actually can kick the soccer balls. The thing that I've learned in this job is you're not allowed to use your hands here. So don't use your hands, you get red cards. So here's my red card. I'm getting off of here. And let's make sure we have really the greatest sporting event in the history of the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're now going to turn to FIFA's Chief Business and Strategy Officer, someone that I've known for quite some time working within U.S. soccer and over the years here within the United States in the soccer world, Amy Hopfinger.
Good morning. First, I'd just like to share our thank you on behalf of FIFA to the Department of Transportation for bringing this group together. It's so great to see so many dedicated state, local, federal, private sector, public sector, some of our host cities here, some of my FIFA colleagues. So thanks for taking the time this morning. I know it's a busy week for a lot of us. We have a big day ahead of us tomorrow. But on behalf of FIFA, on behalf of the FIFA World Cup 26, I'd like to thank Secretary Duffy and his entire team for their commitment to supporting next summer's FIFA World Cup. And ensuring travelers and transportation is a vital part of that success. The speed with which this administration and the care with which this administration has approached the FIFA World Cup is really second to none. You've heard from a few speakers today what we've been able to accomplish over the last 10, 11 months is really remarkable, and it's on behalf of the administration, the agencies that we've been able to work with, our FIFA colleagues and our host cities that we are at this place today and ready to announce a schedule tomorrow and then again on Saturday, where we'll really be able to kickstart that next phase of planning. We're 189 days away from the largest sporting event in the history of the world, so no pressure to everyone in this room, but we are excited about welcoming over 6 million ticket holders. We're looking at $30 million in financial economic impact to the United States. That is second to none. We really need to make sure that we are ready to welcome the world. We have this opportunity, this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and we need to meet that mark. Next summer's tournament presents unique challenges to our transportation systems, not only with the footprint across the United States, but also cross-border travel with our partners in Canada and Mexico. We've worked hand in hand with our host city committees on mobility planning, wayfinding, and messaging so fans can safely travel to and from matches next summer. We're grateful to DOT for their support of the host cities in this process, and we'll work to ensure consistent messaging, communication, and collaboration with local authorities across all of our venues to provide a seamless experience and travel around the stadiums. In the months ahead, we look forward to working with you all to ensure a safe and successful FIFA World Cup, smooth travel experiences, transportation for soccer fans around the globe, and to make sure that the United States is ready to welcome the world in less than 200 days. Thanks again to Secretary Duffy, to the FTA Administrator, to the rest of the Department of Transportation staff, to our partners in the White House Task Force and our host cities for organizing today's summit and for being part of it. It's great to see so much energy and excitement around transportation. And looking forward to the next couple days here in DC, and then the next final sprint as we get ready for 26. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Appreciate that. Now we're going to bring up someone that has been within the soccer world in a variety of different ways over the years. Children himself enjoying the game, and now a very important position within U.S. Soccer. We're bringing up U.S. Soccer Federation incoming COO, Dan Helfrich.
Thank you to Secretary Duffy and to everybody for assembling this group. And while we at U.S. Soccer are extraordinarily excited for all 48 teams that will compete, we're really excited about the one that will be wearing the red, white, and blue. I don't come here with predictions for how our team will fare, but I will tell you that over the last few months, you can see palpably the energy, the passion, the grit, and the tenacity that our team will bring to the field in June, and they will challenge the world's best for sure. It was interesting, Secretary Duffy referenced Herb Brooks. I was with our coach Mauricio earlier this week, and he actually said, true story, he had just watched Miracle on the plane, and it got him extraordinarily excited for this summer. And while we are focused on an extraordinary event and an extraordinary performance for our team, I did want to share that our focus at U.S. Soccer is squarely on the legacy that this event and then the Olympics and then the 2031 Women's World Cup should create for our sport in this country. And we are investing in the sport, including in the Arthur Blank National Training Center in Atlanta, which will open this spring. But what we're really focused on is what we're calling Soccer Forward, which is our legacy initiative to make soccer the most played and the most accessible sport in the United States for everyone, so that everyone can achieve their highest ambition without regard for finance. And so with that focus, we thank the Secretary and the entire team for getting everyone to the matches, in particular for our fans. And we thank you in advance for your support of U.S. Soccer, not just in this event, but for what it will create in terms of momentum for our mission-driven impact sport.
All right, I want to bring up someone special here now. This is going to be Congressman Darren LaHood, the chairman of the Congressional Soccer Caucus and a strong advocate for the World Cup. He's going to be coming up to speak, but just before he does, I got to say, if you haven't been out to the Congressional Soccer match, you got to go, because it is something special to see all the Congresspeople out there competing, you know, at a high level on the pitch. And Congressman LaHood, please.
USA, USA, USA. Thank you, Kobe. What a great day for our country and a great day for America to be here, and a big week for soccer. I want to thank Secretary Duffy and his team for hosting us here today at this beautiful venue and to talk a little bit about soccer and the World Cup. As everybody knows, the U.S. is not shy about doing big events. But when you think about what the World Cup encompasses for next summer, this is a massive undertaking, as we've heard from a lot of the speakers and particularly from Secretary Duffy. But to put it in perspective, this will be the largest sporting event in the history of the world. It'll be the first time that 3 countries host the World Cup: Canada, Mexico, and the United States. We expand the World Cup for the first time from 32 to 48 teams coming to the United States. As I tell my colleagues, we're going to have 104 Super Bowls in 39 days, simultaneously. 11 venues in the United States, 2 in Canada, 3 in Mexico. And so this is a massive undertaking, a $30 billion economic impact on the United States. And that's the stage that's been set for next summer. And I want to just commend President Trump and the White House for their investment in this World Cup. Going back to the first Trump administration, when we submitted for the bid, it was a team effort to get this bid. But President Trump was front and center in helping to secure the bid for 2026, and now we're less than 7 months away from having this happen. In Congress, we've done a number of things to help our 11 host cities. Early this year, we got a $625 million appropriations that goes to our 11 host cities for security, for helping our police, for helping on logistics for those 11 host cities, which is vitally important. Secondly, $525 million for anti-drone technology for the 11 host cities, which plays an integral part on the security apparatus for the 11 host cities. So we've been very involved at the congressional level on those dollars, putting our money where our mouth is in terms of infrastructure and security that we need for the World Cup. And so I've been awful proud to play a role in Congress with the White House Task Force and all of our partners you've heard from today to make this the most successful World Cup in the history. And we have a generational opportunity for this country. Soccer is the fastest growing sport in the United States. It's the sport that's the most popular in the world. But this World Cup, what it'll mean for the United States, for our youth programs, and for our country, will have a generational impact for the future. And all of you in this room and the people we've heard today will play a role in that. And we look forward to working hard over the next 7 months to make this such a big success for the United States. Thank you, everybody.
And lastly, we'll have the Federal Transit Administrator, Mark Molinaro. Please join me on stage.
I have the very difficult task of being the sixth speaker, which means only one thing. Everything has been said, but not everyone has yet said it. And so it is my job to inspire you off into our breakout sessions, encourage you to really dive in. This is a pep rally. Kobe and I were saying a little bit more. We need a little more energy from you. I noted Sean McMaster wasn't clapping loud enough from Highway. And the transit agencies, you're going to be moving millions of people around this country. Cheer for that. You're on the front line. Come on. First, let me do some housekeeping. In about an hour, we're going to do 2 breakout sessions you likely know, one on ride sharing, one on wayfinding. You'll find them over in the media center. Please find your way there. There are a number of partners in the back, including those from USDOT. Please take an opportunity to get information that they're distributing, including our playbook from the FTA, our big event playbook. We hope that it's a good tool for transit agencies, those in the charter sector. We're trying to clarify some of the rules, make sure you understand all the game plans and that you're engaged and ready to go. But this is an exciting time to be working at the United States Department of Transportation, because we are not only going to be moving goods and services, but we're going to be moving millions of people around the country. For this one opportunity when America gets to play on the main stage in soccer, and the world is going to be watching. And so to my friends in transit agencies all across the country, we are grateful for the work that you've done to prepare, but we have so much more to do. We need to be sure, as President Trump and Secretary Duffy have made perfectly clear, the experience those millions of fans, those athletes, those coaches, and everyone associated with World Cup, the experience they have can be made or broken on a transit experience. Be very clear. Transit agencies will be that moment of connection. And we want to be sure that the experience folks have is not only safe, but enjoyable. We have to be on our A game. And the U.S. Department of Transportation and FTA is your partner to ensure that that happens. And it is clearly a wonderful opportunity. And so whether it's a ferry boat or a subway, whether on a platform or a bus, there needs to be a safe, reliable, accessible, and efficient system. There needs to be connectivity. We want our host cities and our transit agencies talking to one another, engaging with one another, and planning together. We have to be on our A game. And I have absolute faith that the transit organizations, our partners in the private sector who play an important role in charter service, you are all prepared for this moment. It is an exciting time to be an American. We will host the World Cup. we will celebrate the 250th anniversary of our independence, and we will put on the best show, the best display, and the best set of games the world has ever known. But it is up to us. And so together, whether it's investment in projects that will create accessibility and reliability in host cities, the President has already, under Secretary Duffy's leadership, invested millions of dollars. We need those projects done.
All right, folks, we're going to cut this press conference a little bit early as our time comes short here on WCNC Plus. But of course, we'll have more for you at 11, talking about CMPD's operation in Uptown as they make things safer for the holidays. And of course, the winter weather that we're expecting, the wintry mix and the rain come tomorrow and tomorrow morning. We'll have it for you tonight at 11 on WCNC. Thanks for joining us tonight here on WCNC Plus.